Welcome back to the Sales Class, the podcast where we unlock the secrets to closing deals with unique strategies and real life examples. And I am Ashrith, and as always, I'm joined by Mr. Alex, our dedicated learner, ready to tackle another essential sales step. Hey Alex, how are you doing, man?
Hey Ashrith, I'm doing good.
Good. So, are you able to build rapport from last week?
I've been practicing rapport building from last week's episode, and it's been a game changer.
That's great to hear. And so, today, we are diving into one of the most critical steps in the sales process, qualifying leads.
Qualifying leads the right way.
And if you get this right, you'll start saving your time, energy, and start closing more deals. Ready to dig in?
Let's begin.
Perfect. So let's begin.
What does it mean to qualify a lead?
Qualifying a lead is all about determining if a prospect is a good fit for your product or service. So Alex, have you ever wasted time chasing a prospect who wasn't interested or didn't have the budget?
Yes, I've spent weeks on someone only to find out they weren't ready to buy or didn't even have the authority to make decisions.
Yeah, that's exactly what we are trying to avoid. Here's a quick story. I once spent hours preparing a pitch for a big potential client, and midway through the presentation, they stopped me and said, "We don't actually have the budget for this." And that's when I learned the importance of qualifying leads.
So qualifying helps avoid those dead ends?
Yeah, exactly. It's about focusing your energy on prospects who are the right fit and ready to buy.
The key criteria for qualifying leads.
There are 4 criteria to consider when qualifying a lead. 1. Budget. 2. Authority. And 3. Need. And 4. Timeline. So let's break down. First, budget. So Alex, how would you approach finding out if a prospect had budget for your solution?
That's tricky. I guess I'd ask something like, what's your budget for this project?
Seriously, that's a good start. But another way is to frame it around value. For example, many of our clients invest between X and Y for the solution. Does that align with your expectation? It's less direct but gives you insight.
I like that. It feels less confrontational.
Exactly. And next is authority. You need to know if the person you're talking to can make the final decision. Here's the tip to find out. Ask them who else should be involved in this decision. It's polite and helps you identify the key players.
That's smart. I've definitely pitched to people who couldn't sign off.
Yeah, it happens to all of us. Now on to need. This is where you determine if your solution addresses their pain points. So ask open-ended questions like, what challenges are you trying to solve, or what's your biggest priority right now?
That makes sense. What about timeline?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a great question. Timelines help you to understand urgency. Ask things like, when are you looking to implement the solution, or is there any deadline you're working toward? Knowing this will help you prioritize the leads.
Real life example of qualifying leads.
So let's put this into a context with real life examples. I once had a lead who seemed perfect on paper. They were in the right industry, showed interest and had a budget. But when I asked about their timeline, they said, "We are just exploring options for next year."
Oh no, so they weren't ready to buy.
Exactly. So I moved them to my long-term pipeline and focused on other leads with more immediate needs. And 6 months later, they reached out when they were ready and I closed that deal. So what I'm saying is, qualifying saves you from wasting time and ensures you are working smarter, not harder.
Got it. It's about balancing patience with prioritization.
Well said.
Common mistakes when qualifying leads.
Before we wrap up, let's talk about common mistakes. First, assuming instead of asking. Alex, have you ever assumed a prospect's needs without verifying?
Definitely. I've gone into pitches thinking I knew what they wanted, only to realize I was way off.
It happened to the best of us. So, always confirm your assumptions. And another mistake is being too aggressive. Qualifying is about gathering information, not interrogating the prospect.
So it's about asking the right questions in the right way.
Yeah, you get my point. Exactly. And the last mistake is ignoring red flags. If a lead seems uninterested or evasive, don't force it. Focus on those who align with your criteria.
Got it.
That's it.
Action steps.
So let's wrap up with 3 action steps to start qualifying leads effectively. So today, you go on with that, Alex.
Use the BANT framework to evaluate budget, authority, need, and timeline. 2. Ask open-ended questions to uncover key information without making assumptions. And 3. Don't ignore red flags. Focus on leads that are a strong fit.
Fantastic! So qualifying leads isn't just a step in the process, it's the key to work efficiently and close more deals. So thank you for joining me today, Alex. As always, any final thoughts?
Thank you. I'm ready to put these strategies into action.
Perfect. Do your best. And next week, we are talking about crafting irresistible pitches. So don't miss it. If you found this episode helpful, share it with your friend and leave us a review. So until the next time, keep closing those deals.